Welcome to Wiki Bearings, where we dive into the worlds of engineering excellence, from the automotive marvels to the industrial giants. Join us to explore the wonders that keeps the world in motion. My name is Hassanein Alwan, and I'm your host. Welcome to today's episode where we dive into sustainability. We have a special guest with 28 years of experience in the industry, a forefront in transforming industrial practices in the Middle East and Africa, a passionate engineer, a humble leader, a loving father, explorer of philosophies, motivational speaker, and advocate for sustainability. Welcome, Swapnil Gupta.
Thank you, Hassanein. I'm delighted to be here. We had our partnership going the last probably 5 years now, and I think I have learned a lot of things from you. The way Mineral Circle Bearings is rolling itself out in the market, helping the customers. I consider you as a sort of open eyes and ears for innovation and renovation, whatever you call it. So, yeah, it has been a good learning. We have walked the talk, so to say, on few things. Of course, we cannot sleep on the laurels, which we achieved in the past, but definitely a lot of things to learn and expand and implement. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for coming. So, as we said, we're going to talk about a little bit sustainability, and you have been working for SKF for many years, of course. So, if we start with a soft start, tell us a little bit about your experience in SKF and what makes SKF different from the competition.
SKF, as you know, is an acronym for Svenska Kulagärfabriken, which is Swedish bearing factory. A company which was established by a textile engineer called Mr. Sven Winkvist. And he was facing a problem of bending in shafts in the textile mill machinery. And that's how he came up with a bearing which was self-aligning ball bearing way back in 1907. So SKF then started rolling out different types of bearings in different parts of the globe. And now we stand at 117 years after Mr. Winkvist, established this company. For us, SKF motto, so to say, is life with less friction. And so far as the data goes, 20% of all energy which the world produces goes into handling friction. So that's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So whatever spins, whatever rotates, whatever turns in our everyday life, moving cars, having transportation, even skating for fun or music, everything, whatever rotating components are there in our daily lives, we as SKF are trying to reduce the friction, make the application lighter. That's what our focus is. And I think in our daily lives, SKF as a company and we as employees of SKF, we always strive to look ahead, a step ahead into looking of what we can do. So it's not purely a product company, so to say. SKF is more of a solutions provider with the core of bearings and then all the allied technologies around, wherein we can make lives of our customers easier.
Less friction.
So that's what SKF tries to do in every day.
Great.
Day-to-day life.
Of course, I mean, like we want to have less friction in life and less friction in bearings and less friction in engineering. The least friction we can have. Of course.
Sometimes friction is required, but most of the times it's not required.
We can have less friction, but not a lot of friction.
Okay.
So if we look at SKF as a leading industry, in the bearing and in service, in the mechanical services, lubrication, and so we see that SKF is taking this leadership into the sustainability. And there is a lots of big projects and ambitions. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, first of all, let me explain the different facets of our business, because that itself will give you what sustainability means. Because if you see on the product side, we are producers of bearings, we are producers of seals, we are producers of lubrication systems and lubricants. We are into condition monitoring equipments, reliability and performance monitoring equipments, power transmission, maintenance products. So if you see that the technologies which we are working on, or the product lines which we are working on, makes bearing sustainable. So that's altogether the core of it. That when we produce something which facilitates rotation, we also look into the aspects of rotation which could be influenced on the performance side of it, be it the lubrication of it, or be keeping the contamination out of the bearing assemblies. So basically
monitoring it,
the monitoring part of it. So this all itself
to elongate
adds
the
to
life. Yes,
itself adds to the sustainability of that particular application or the performance of it. But basically, as engineers working on the development, design, manufacturing of bearings, on the bearing aspect itself, there is a lot of innovation which goes on in making the bearings lighter. So one aspect of it is the performance of it, the allied technologies which I talked about. But the other facet is how to make bearing state of the art. So it's not just a piece of metal which is worked upon by different machines. It's a piece of art. So even we have bearings which goes for the cars, which is like the classic cars.
Yes,
even so, we have bearings for them as well. So for us, we think that whatever we do, we add to the sustainability of it with the different technologies and all. But then talking exclusively about sustainability, we have many focus areas of working in terms of the manufacturing practices which we have in our own factories.
Okay.
SKF has about 100 manufacturing base in about 130 countries. We employ about 40,000 employees globally. We are a 10 billion euro company globally. So it's not like we ourselves can add a lot of things as far as the sustainability goes in the manufacturing practices which we do, the amount of energy which we consume in producing or working upon the piece of metal to produce bearings. So there are a lot of things which adds to the sustainability part of it. I can really explain in the details if you can discuss some core areas of it as we go along.
If we look in general, I think, of course, the idea of bearings and the mechanical and all surrounding it is based on somehow sustainability, because less friction, less energy, more productivity, and all of that, for sure. But I think if we look at just if we think about a few of SKF's let's say projects you can hear in the media and so on, like decarbonizing the production by 2030, which is a very ambitious and courageous, I would say, goal to do. And I think one thing we want to understand from you, what does that mean, and do you think this is something that is achievable?
Very much. And the things which SKF have committed on the sustainability part, it's not like we have committed it for ourselves, but it is part of, or it is aligned to the global goals. So for example, I'll just throw out some numbers to you. where we say that SKF's net zero commitment on the greenhouse gases, the targets which we have put ourselves in our operations, in our manufacturing, and what we do is validated by SBTI, which is the Science-Based Target Initiative. SBTI as an organization.
Yes.
And they have validated our goals aligned with the climate science and the Paris Agreement. So it's not like we have thrown up certain numbers which is not achievable, or we have made it a jargon for the industry to feel good about it. It's very much achievable. The 30% reduction on the CO2 levels, which we keeping the 2019 as a base. So keeping 2019 as a base, we said we will reduce our carbon footprint by 30%.
I think 2025 by 30?
2030.
2030.
So there are, for example, if you talk about the clean tech business, probably we will touch upon it. The clean tech business for us, it's about 10% of our total sales. So if we are we report our numbers in SEC. So the clean tech business in 2023 was 10 billion SEC. So that's not a small amount of money which we and on top of it, SKF has allocated about 3 billion SEC on this to meet the energy decarbonization targets which we have put. So the numbers and the commitment which the SKF group as such has done are very much in line with the global validation authorities, and it is very much achievable. It's not something up in the air which we say and then we do something differently.
Well, it's just that I think coming from 2019 as a base to look at decarbonization by 2030, it's 10 years almost, give or take, and it's a very ambitious, and it's have an impact. I mean, it looks, yes, it's maybe a buzzword or an interesting, but there is so much of changes that have to happen to achieve.
Absolutely.
And this is what I think the market look at it to be very courageous. Is it possible? Because I think as a metal industry in general, these are they have a big impact on the environment, and decarbonization by 2030 is it looks to be a very
No, when I also first learned as an employee what SKF is into, and these numbers look to be a bit of challenge or a stretch, but then we go into the details, and if you look into the aspects of how the breakup of it, of how we will achieve that. Since 2019, we have a carbon CO2 emission reduction of 41%. And how we did that, I will explain in due course. We first of all have a product category rules defined, which means that whatever bearings we are producing, we try to calculate the environmental impact of it. So we have this matrix or the category rules defined, wherein we see the full life cycle, including the carbon footprints of the bearing units which we produce. And we have something called it's an app which is called the pollution so CO2 inhibitor app. So the app has different elements of it. Probably it will take few hours to explain to this, but we ourselves in our factories, what we are doing is that we have those matrices developed, and each and every factory is more or less following those development rules, calculating the amount of CO2 which is affected by the production of so much of working upon the metals and all. We have there is an increase of 5% on the clean tech sales, as I said, the clean tech solutions in 2023. Now, there are a lot of aspects of clean technology and other aspects of it, but definitely few elements of it is that we will I think 64% of our energy consumption in our factories will be from the renewable energy. So that's the commitment.
I think it's a big
So that's the commitment which we are doing, and we are investing in technologies, in companies who are into the renewable energy
Hmm.
as a partner. So it is on the manufacturing of bearings, on the sourcing of different raw materials into the manufacturing processes, the energy consumption of it, the sourcing of the energy consumption, the supply chain, the regionalization of factories, so to be more close to the customers, not producing a bearing in China and delivering it to Middle East or in Americas. So
Sure.
that's also affects
Localization and shipments.
so the
and
regionalization, the sourcing part, the overall, we calculate the efficacy of what we are doing.
Hmm.
So there are different elements of it, of
Hmm.
course, but yes, we are on path, very much doable, as I would say.
Great. I think you mentioned a few times about clean tech.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit more? What does that mean, and how did SKF venture into clean tech?
Yeah, one of the foremost things, and I think the world is moving towards the electric vehicles.
Mm.
So one of the clean tech solutions which SKF has as of now is into the electric mobility solutions. And when we say electric vehicles, people would think that a lot of mechanical components will be reduced. So and we have a complete basket of products for the vehicle aftermarket, from engine to steering and suspension to everything. So belts and chains and all different products. So people have a sort of misconception that probably SKF will be out of the electric vehicle market, because we have a lot of solutions on the traditional fuel-based mobility solutions. So what now coming back to the electric vehicle, there are certain solutions which SKF has developed, and one of the solution is the optimized e-powertrain technology.
Okay.
Now, what does it mean? The electric powertrain, which means there is a battery, and then there is a whole set of gearboxes, and then finally the wheel is moved. We work on raising the energy efficiency of this powertrain. We calculate the energy efficiency of it, and enabling the compact design of it. So overall design of the e-powertrain, simplifying the assembly, looking into the efficiency part. Now, getting deeper into it, there are 4 or 5 solutions which SKF has come with, and they are very much part of the current set of vehicles which are there in the market, including Tesla. So we are working with the market leaders in Americas, in China, in Europe as well. And a few things I can tell you on the electric vehicle side is, first, there is a solution called conductive brushing ring for the rotor shaft. So as we know that in the electric vehicle, there are a lot of problems related to electric discharge. So we call it as the parasitic current. So this ring, the brush ring, it is located on top of the bearing, and then it releases, or it doesn't affect the performance of the bearing, because if there is a leakage, there will be pitting on the raceways, and accordingly there will be reduction on the life of that particular application. So we have something called conductive brushing ring for the rotor shaft. It mitigates the current inside that particular powertrain. It lowers the friction and the torque to move the vehicle. Then we have some special DGBBs wherein the raceways of those DGBBs are made in such a way so that we have close osculation of the balls. So that's one area where if we have a close osculation of the balls, then the bearing can accommodate more radial and axial loads. So that's one area where SKF works on the electric vehicles powertrain,
especially
solution.
That the electrical vehicles in terms of RPM way higher than a standard ICE engine.
Yes.
And the demands on these bearings are on a different level.
Very demanding.
On a different level.
One of the very good solutions which SKF has is the application of hybrid bearings in the e-powertrain. Now, what is hybrid bearing? We have a ceramic. You very well know the bearing. So we have the rings which is made of bearing steel, but the rolling elements are made of silicon nitride. Now, silicon nitride, if you see, it has 60% lesser density than steel. So automatically the weight is reduced. That is why I was saying compact design and lighter weight.
Yeah.
So these hybrid bearings, they increase the speed capability of that application, and hybrid bearings can insulate the housing. So the leakages which happen,
electricity leakages, the damage because of the leakages,
and
the
it
isolation.
works very well on the AC motors, on the DC motors, as well as on the generators. So all the aspects of the electrical vehicle is taken care of. Silicon nitride, as we know, has a low density. As I said, 60% low density, very high strength, stiffness, toughness, hardness. It can withstand high vibrations and oscillations. There is no need of preload on the hybrid bearings. There is no need of some special lubricants on the hybrid bearings. Once you use the standard lubricant, or in some cases no lubricant at all. So these are some of the solutions. And the final solution which we have is the high load carrying capacity needle roller bearings for the electric vehicle. So these are some of the solutions which we feel adds to the sustainability, because if the world is moving towards a definite technology, then SKF should be geared up to provide solutions to that particular technology.
For sure. I mean, like now we if we look at electrical vehicles, I think automatically we think about an ICE engine, the standard engine with all this combustion, and which I think it's an engine that have worked for so many years, and we know it works, and I don't think we are I know that there is many manufacturers that are promising by 2030 there is no more production of that, and I think we come to look at hybrid engines, and we come to look at when I say hybrid, it's like which is electrical / ICE engine, and there is all the different technology, and I think there is a race in that direction, and I think we all see that the electrical cars is increasing, and for any company that have a focus on producing bearings related to tensioners, clutches, alternators, water pumps, and all of this is a big part of today's OEM.
Yes.
So, and it's automatically comes to the mind that will this bearing company able to transform or sustain their business, where automotive business is usually a big part of the business. I think you touched point on some of these when it comes to that SKF is investing in that. But when it comes to if we look at the automotive business of SKF, I mean the industrial business a little bit different. Maybe it will not be impacted by the EV. There is other aspect and factors that will impact the industrial market in the future, but EV entering to the market and looking at SKF producing bearings and all the related power transmission belts and all of that, and some other products. How do you look at it from both an OEM market and from an aftermarket perspective?
Yeah. As of now, I don't see looking into the management focus of spreading our wings into other areas of business, which leaves basically the core business of SKF, which is bearings and the allied products or technologies which help bearing perform better. So I would say that be it, as I said, I explained about the electrical vehicles, could be other aspects of it, but we will not be diversifying into electronics or something which is very new for SKF. SKF as such as a company would like to focus more and more on our core expertise, which is producing bearings, innovating on the design of it, making it lighter, making it with less friction it should operate, probably the lubrication part of it, and all the aspects of caring of good performance of a bearing. But I would not say that SKF as a company would move into areas which is very different. We will still focus and find ways and solutions to help our customers on the things which we are expert at, not something which we spread our wings into an area which is unknown for us. So I would say, be it electric vehicles or any other sustainability. For example, I would say, I would like to explain here also something about remanufacturing of bearings. So now, of course, doesn't touch the vehicle aftermarket, but on
this is
the
more on the
side,
industrial side. I think there is a lots of.
But you will get to know about the inclination of the company where. So now, when we started remanufacturing basically is done for large size bearings.
So let us explain what does it mean first.
Yeah.
Because for the audience just to see.
Yes.
So what remanufacturing, now this is more into industrial bearings. I guess it's more into heavy duty industrial bearings where remanufacturing is happening.
Yeah.
And I would like you to explain what is it. And now, if I am a manufacturer of bearing, why would I encourage that even?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. And a lot of people ask me as well.
Because, your goal should be to sell bearings, not to remanufacture them.
No, as I said, SKF is not into the business of selling more metals per kg. It's more of selling solutions.
Sure.
Per person.
Yeah.
So it's not about. It's not about.
So let us explain the idea about remanufacturing.
Yes. So remanufacturing, as I said, is a concept within SKF. I don't know if other companies are doing it. Maybe doing it in parts, but we started doing it some 15, 17, 18 years back when we didn't start remanufacturing to reduce our bearing sales, as you said, because if you remanufacturing means basically to work upon a used bearing and to make it usable. So it is reusable to an extent. Now, remanufacturing of a bearing cannot be done if the bearing has failed or it has achieved the wear inside the bearing is to a level where where it is irreversible.
Yeah.
That's the word for it. So it has to be a balancing act between how much the bearing has worn out and what we can do to polish it, to change the cage material or the rolling elements or different heat treatment process which can go. So we started with an aspect of very high lead time. If the customer is facing very high lead time, then they would send the used bearing, which probably as per the parameters, the strict parameters which the OEM has given to them, it is taken out of the operation. So we remanufactured, reman it or made it reusable, refurbished that. And that was the whole purpose of starting this activity within SKF. But over the period of time, now refurbishment of bearing has become one of the talking points of sustainability. So it's just not the financial aspect of it that people may, of course, people save money because they have a longer usage of the same bearing, but it's more now of the sustainability. Let me explain. When we started refurbishment or reman of bearings, we had a couple of factories in Austria and in Poland, but now we have 15 reman units or workshops across the world. Now, just to give an example, we are working with one steel maker for more than 10 years, and we refurbish all the bearings of the continuous casting machine. So approximately 2,000 bearings are used in a CCM, and which is replaced continuously. And we refurbish those bearings, and we, as I said, 2,000 bearings per year, and it saves 10 ton of steel per year. So it's a lot of lot of steel, and 62,000 kilowatt hours of energy saved, and 30 tons of CO2 reduction. So this is just one CCM which I am talking about. So now reman or the refurbishment initially was to lower the cost and shorten the lead times, but now it is more of sustainability and the circularity goals, as we say. So In SKF, I think all the employees, we call it circular people. There's a term inside SKF where we call them circular people, which means that they need to think and find ways and means to tell to our customers that, be it Reman or it be it some other aspects of their operations, are we thinking in a circular way, as we define the circular economy? So that's one part of it. Also, as I was saying, that we work with our most of our end customers, and we have an application called Avoided Emission Calculator. So if they can avoid it, for example, refurbishment, as we discussed, it has to be a balance between the wear and the usability. So we use the condition monitoring technology and artificial intelligence included in that app as part of the app, wherein get the data, and then we advise our customers, stop it and send the bearings to our reman facilities, and it could be refurbished to give you the more extend the usability of the bearing. Yeah.
And do you see that this is the direction forward as well? Do you see that it's
very much
a growing business?
Now. It's very much entrenched now. Segments like wind energy, like metals, like mining and mineral processing, cement plants, they are very much into it. Our workshops are overloaded. All these 15 reman plants are basically overloaded with bearings, which are given to us for extending the bearing life cycle. Yeah.
And usually you would refurbish them or re-engineer them to be used in the same application. And they will withstand similar.
And we in sometimes guarantee also that within the operating parameters, if they run those bearings, we give them the extended life cycle, lifetime of that bearing also. So it's a certified kind of solution for our customers.
Is there anything near to the region, the Middle East?
No, as of now, the reman capabilities, the closest one is in Austria. Before it was one of the Middle East countries, but because of these sanctions and all, we moved that facility to Austria. But there was one few years back in Middle East also. Few years back.
Great. Now,
I'll just add to
sure.
Ride upon, because we are talking about sustainability and different aspects of it. SKF has one more solution called reconned oil. So probably you heard about it. Now, what is reconned oil? Reconned oil is nothing but reconditioning of oil. Now we have this patent technology called double separation filter, DSF technology. So what it does basically, it is a technology where the nanoparticles of contamination inside the oil. So basically what we are doing is that we are taking hydraulic oils, lubricating oils, and machine oils. These are the three types of oils which we recondition. So there is a scalable unit, customized unit. It could be 2, 3, 5, 10 filters, and then you can use it in the circulation line. You take the from the gearbox or wherever the oil is, and then these nanoparticles, the contamination as well as the water, they coagulate with this technology, and it settles down inside the oil, and then those lumps of the settled particles, it is cleaned through the filters, and then the life of those oils is increased to an extent that sometimes instead of maybe a couple of changes in a year, the changes are not required for the next 5 years. So it's a huge thing. And then I think SKF, as I said, is investing and looking into these kind of things where it's a kind of blue ocean thing. Nobody's doing it. I mean, how can you gauge the benefits of twice in a year oil change with a 5-year oil change, and all the other costs which are attached to it? You have to stop the plant. You have to look after the disposability of the oil also. So a lot of things which goes into it. So reconned oil is also one of the technologies which we are working on.
So it is more into the industrial segment, or can be
it could be
used
anything.
also
it could be
in the automotive.
Wherever you have a machine oil, a hydraulic oil, or what you call the lubricating oil. So it could be a lathe machine, it could be a gearbox, it could be an engine, whatever. So we just use it.
Is it a tested and a working solution?
Yes, yes.
Or is it
in
just
Middle East, we have just employed with the EPCO,
okay,
the Emirates Oil Company,
Yeah.
and we supplied them about 5 units.
okay,
It is under test, and the plan is to roll out for every gas stations around, the fuel stations around. So they will be having
That's
their
great.
own recoined oil space where the machine oil or the engine oil can be reconditioned, and the life of the oil could be increased by
Great.
double or triple or 4
And
times.
this is
depends
also
upon.
will have a major impact on the sustainability as well, because
Yes.
we are not only reusing it, but the impact of where we dispose. I mean, the disposal of today, all this lubrication is a major problem,
Yes.
because yes, we can put 2 or 3 liters of new lubrication, but what is happening on the other? This
And
is also
more or less now the government is also having very strict rules for disposing of the.
I think yes,
oils.
it is
Very
now.
strict rules.
It's nowadays also expensive
Expensive.
to deal with all of this and how to recycle them, and I think it's a great initiative. I think it's could be especially where there is major production, or if you have big gearboxes where there is the disposal or reuse of these oils. I think it's a very interesting idea.
It also gives SKF's shareholders more confidence in SKF, because the way we do the things in areas which is, as I said, the blue ocean technologies, where nobody else is doing. So it's an altogether a new area for exploration. And the more we do such things, the more confident our shareholders are on SKF that we are on the right track. It's not doing everything and anything what everybody is doing it, but it's about focusing our efforts to do things which really together what we are expert at. So we are doing things around it, allied to it, so that it brings more value at the end of the day to our customers.
But now I'm not sure who else is doing this kind of cleaning and refurbishing, conditioning oils. But I think it's worth it's a project worth exploring, and I think as it is a versatile and
maybe we and MCB can also foray into this aspect of, because as I understand that you're looking for avenues for doing things different, creating the positive vibes in the market. Because see, business now with so much of data flowing around and so much of exposure in whatever you are doing to the outside world, people are very keenly observing what our distributors are doing or what we are doing. And when we do things which is a genuine effort, I would say, then it brings a kind of confidence. So otherwise people would think that I'm just pushing my products or I'm pushing my products through my distributors in the market. But then when they see the business is not only a one-way kind of game, it's a kind of circular economy where we are operating, then they have more confidence on us. All of our efforts, I would say, is to reduce, reuse, recycle, recover as long as possible. So if you ask me what SKF will look like in 5 to 10 years from now, we will be doing more or less the same things on this aspect of circularity. So giving more enhanced solutions, I would say, to our customers, creating more value for our distributors, close to our distributors, close to our customers. Distributors are our extended arms, be it Mineral Circle Bearings or any other distributor globally. We have around 17,000 distributors across the globe. So as you are an extended arm for SKF, we would like to have the feedback, first of all, from you, what you are facing with your customers, and very well support you with clean technologies or application engineering or just a hand holding in going to your customers together to just really understand that and probably we have a social obligation as well, that what we are doing, we should create value at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about SKF, we talked about some of the aspects of sustainability. And then there is this big SKF want to achieve net zero by 2050. Now, net zero is for a company if it was a service into, I don't know, like a different aspect of the business, or I wouldn't say it's difficult, but with SKF net zero, this is like a very big ambitious. And I think you are also including your supply chain in this. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. See, we have pledged to source at least, let's say, 40% of our steel from net zero steel plants by 2040. So
is there any net zero steel plant?
So then you would ask like the obvious question. So what we are doing is that we are helping our so there is a steel mill in Europe where the technologies and the way they produce steel and the CO2 emission which is linked to producing per ton of steel, all these aspects are jointly worked upon with SKF engineers and the steel mill. So we are in the process of creating such supply chain entities which so-called are also, because it's not only SKF's obligation or responsibility to do that, as we are committed to net zero targets as per the Paris Agreement or the International Labour Organization agreements or Compact 10 principles. So we are aligned. So there are different companies also who are aligned with these targets. Yes. So I would say that SKF is working with such entities who are very much eager and aligned, because it can come to a point that the businesses can stop. The governments will stop those businesses which are not aligned to the targets which we ourselves as nations or as companies have agreed upon. So I think either we do it or we are forced to do it. But we have to do it at the end of the day. Yeah. You can see around, even Dubai was facing so much of rains in the last week, and we saw the harsher realities of natural disasters. Sure. So it is a collective effort.
There is an environmental impact.
Yes. Either we close our eyes. See, there is a saying that the ostrich, when faces a danger, the ostrich puts his head in the sand and he feels that nothing is going wrong around. But the danger is there. I mean, the ostrich will get killed at the end of the day. But she puts the head inside the sand and she thinks that nothing is going wrong. So we should not be in that ostrich situation. I think, as I said, I am giving you certain initiatives of SKF like clean tech, like sourcing the raw materials. As I said, 64% of our energy will be from the renewable energy sources, from wind, from tidal energy, and we are investing. For example, one of the sustainability efforts is to create some special bearing solutions for the tidal energy. So the tides create the movement of turbines. So we invested heavily into the wind turbines, the special solutions for wind turbines, special spherical roller bearings which are particular suffixes. So as SKF, as I said, we are very much dedicated. We are focused on our core expertise to provide solutions to either it is 2030 targets of emission reduction or 2050 targets of net zero governance within our manufacturing unit. So it could be world-class manufacturing. It could be working with our customers to reduce their carbon footprint. It could be clean technologies investment, which can give not only us, but our customers certain tangible things to work upon and reduce their carbon footprint. So regionalization, as I said, could be one thing of our manufacturing bases. It could be competitive supply chain, wherein we source, how we source, what we source. So yeah, I mean, there are different elements of it. It's not like a magic wand that I just throw the magic wand around and things get done. There's small things which are contributing to the overall targets which
if we look
have
at the competitors, or some of the competitors, they are now venturing into maybe acquiring a company in another, let's say, into electronics or into a different dimension that will, I mean, they see that this is the direction, or maybe some of them are actually doing partnerships with some sustainability companies or into electrification or software engineering and so on. Now, I think every company is trying to find their way forward in what they think this is the right direction. But SKF, it feels that they are sticking to the core.
Yes.
Can we say that this is the strategy or the philosophy?
As I understand today with the SKF top management, it is very much evident on our annual reports also about the different initiatives which we are doing. I'm not saying anything is off the table, but if there are technologies around which can further accelerate the core technologies or the core expertise which we have, maybe in the deployment aspect of it, or in the development of it, or the innovation part of it. Of course, the big data is the next big thing which SKF is working upon. We have something called cloud-based data capturing, wherein if it is a steel mill or it's a oil and gas company around in the middle of the sea or middle of the desert, so we are capturing a lot of data. So the big data processing through artificial intelligence. So what I would say that if there are technologies around to process that data, because the data is there, data is there in my mobile, in your mobiles. Yeah. We are in the midst of data avalanche. So
I think we have too much of data.
We have too much of data. So, but the whole intent for SKF is to process this data. We have a lot of solutions now for cloud-based reliability initiatives, wherein the data is captured, artificially intelligence analysis of it, and then we inform our customers, Mr. Customer, your bearing is going to fail after 3 days. So that solution is now with us. So
the bearing, I would say 4.0.
Yeah. So I would say that SKF is very much open to exploring these allied technologies, but it should be making our core expertise more better. So it's not that, as I said in the start, it should not be we are flying around just for the sake of it. No, we are very focused, and I think our customers acknowledge that.
Now, how if we look at this very ambitious sustainability target, SKF have led the way, and I think they are also showing the industry that it is possible to still do such an impact with in a sustainable way. And I think as SKF believe it is possible, and I think they're also leading the way into this. Now, how do you think this will impact your 17,000 distributor, or that in one way, and what do you expect from your future or tomorrow's distributor?
Yeah. First of all, SKF is what is the right word for it? That SKF is very much thankful to our distributor community. In my 27, 28 years of SKF life,
people will think you're old. He's still young.
I have never seen a good distributor leaving SKF. So they are like our family. Take care of our distributors. The only point I would say that what's next for distributors is that they should just evolve as SKF is evolving. I think if we are focusing on the sustainability, if we are focusing on reducing the environmental impact, if we are focusing on value proposition for our customers, if we are looking at rotation in a different way, our distributors should also look at rotation in a different way. It should not be a traditional rotation just for the sake of it. We say that rotation has to be facilitated. So it could be many things. I think you are also an engineer, and you yourself were giving so many examples of customization and things which can help your customers.
For sure.
So I think by just extending what we are doing is the way forward for our distributors, and we make things very easy for our distributors to learn. We are open. We are deploying resources and different softwares and learnings and team building, wherein our distributors are just an extended arm of SKF. So I would say that it could be 17,000 plus, even more distributors, because we have so much of things to offer to our customers that they become segment-specific distributors or product-specific distributors or solution providers. We have so many things. For example, there are specific distributors who work only on motors, so increasing the reliability of motors. So there are distributors who only sell bearings. There are distributors who only sell power transmission products, or a combination of different products in the basket. But I think there is an opportunity of working with SKF in products, in solutions, in segments, in customized solutions. So if you have your eyes and ears open of what is happening in the environment around, we are there together with our distributors. So we handhold you, we work with you to increase the skills. We are just looking at that our distributors should have the right skills at the right time for the right set of people, so that the initiatives which we want to roll out in the market are easily done. So I don't think there is an anomaly or a difference between our efforts and what our distributors are doing.
Great. Swapnil, it was a very nice to have you. It is our pleasure to see you, and as always, it's fun to exchange some of our idea. Maybe this is our first podcast together, but maybe this is not our last one.
For sure.
So I hope you had
Yes.
you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed. Thank you very much for today, and we hope we stay in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hassanein. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss few things. Of course, there are a lot of things like SKF Care and employee engagement, and which we'll find another day to talk about. So thank you
For
very
another
much.
day.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thanks for the hospitality.
Thank you. Welcome to Wiki Bearings, where we dive into the worlds of engineering excellence, from the automotive marvels to the industrial giants. Join us to explore the wonders that keeps the world in motion. My name is Hassanein Alwan, and I'm your host.